One. Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry. Welcome to our weekly gathering. Stone Soup Poetry going on for 52 years and counting. God help me. We are going to the 33rd year anniversary this coming May. We'll see what thrills and chills we have scheduled towards then. Until then, we have features coming up. Until then, our feature tonight is Don Kingfisher Campbell, poet, publisher, author of his most recent collection, Poetry Is, which he'll share links to, or I'll share links to after the reading. Such a pleasure to have him here. I've been seeing him work pretty much since the pandemic, when everyone got online and everyone started networking, and been very impressed with what he's done. He's of course been published in a number of places, some of which I've been published in too through Vagabond Books, and we're going to the moon, both of us, in the most recent anthology from Vagabond, which is part of a lunar project. And I am thrilled to have him on for tonight. We're going to do a quick open mic, and if there's anyone who's joining us for the first time that is interested in joining the open mic, please let us know. I'm going to start off with someone we haven't seen for a while, but it's great that she's here. Let's welcome up Patricia Kerrigan.
Hi, okay, new poem written as of yesterday. Inspired by Billie Eilish, What Was I Made For? Fearless and free, I would float over the empty courtyard, away from the tensions of home and school. But reality crushed this child. Her fairy godmothers never paid visits, her prayers only heard by statues and crosses. A slap here, a slap there, a fault here, a fault there. Never special enough for praise. Constructive criticism would box my ears. A child's anguish never to be seen or heard, and school wasn't much better. Don't cry, you'd only make things worse. Complaints would only make you ugly. But in the mirror, I was already there. I had no purpose but to live. Sadness grew over the passing years, stalked me when least expected. This shadow grew without light. This shadow was the Sandman who stayed and wouldn't let go of my thoughts. School had its hierarchy, but I was a slow learner, the perennial outsider who drifted from grade to grade. Unprepared, I graduated into adult shoes, became a cliche, rose through the ranks in the 9-to-5 world. My anxiety wore business attire. My self-worth plucked like feathers. I had no purpose but to accept this bad script of which I couldn't edit. Sadness grew over the passing years, stalked me when least expected. This shadow grew without light. This shadow was the Sandman who stayed and wouldn't let go of my thoughts and body. The Sandman became my lover. I surrendered to sadness and in return learned to be happy. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Patricia. Let's see who we have next. I want to welcome up Jan Rowe next, who I know is always busy with the Black Seeds Writer Group and various other activism work. Let's hear from you, Jan.
Robert reminded me of a piece I'm revising for the Black Seed. It's The Price We Pay. Maria's cousin's car was shut up and her cousin in the driver's seat, her shoulder was grazed. A guy on the 4th or 5th floor opened the window and started shooting. That's the price we pay, her cousin says, for living in such a great country. So if you get shut up at the grocery store, don't complain. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. I love the mix tonight. A lot of regulars from the old snowsuit days. A lot of people who've joined us as we went from an in-person venue to an online venue, then a sometimes online, sometimes in-person venue, and then back to online again. Hopefully that'll change. Let's see who I want to bring. Well, we should go through the Raminator. That's where I go through, right? That's right. Yes, yes, yes. It's all random. It's all magic. Up next, let's go to Ken Johnson.
Oh, I'm not muted.
Nope.
Yay! I don't have to play with the mute like I get confused every time. Oh, damn. Where'd my thing go? I had something up. There we are. I call this, we never had a mouse until we got a cat. We never had a mouse until we got a cat, which entails that by obtaining the solution first, we then engender the problem we never knew existed before. For more examples, see late night infomercials. Now, how we got in, I don't know, though I've since blocked a round 1-inch hole in the fascia below the threshold of the front door. It's the cat's breakfast left upon the kitchen floor, then found behind a corner cupboard foot, piled kibbles under the cushion of a kitchen cover seat. That quiet night hears Mr. Cat at pouncing, that wiggly butt, tail twitching jump when playing rough with a mouse caught loitering, which he now tosses in the front hall, batting it about as his cat toy. A rambunctious bite, and it lies still. With paper towels, I place him in this bucket. For accommodations, tossed in oak leaves for litter, a cracker, a carrot piece, a bowl of water. Then watched as he dragged himself through the water, over the food, and bedded himself moribund on the leaves. Closely with a pocket light, I watch him, still breathing fast. A puff, 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 go the dun mouse flanks. Must be more than 200 a minute. I wonder, as a witness to when life's creation, does a mousy draw the same of life's good breath as we, the duration of our lives being the same as the number of breaths, yet the slow pace we respire extends our time for death? Seeing this mouth breeze has made me dizzy. When rising with the morning, I find him dead, victim of his fight in the strife that was his life, here more immediately being the claws and jaws of a playful cat. So I carry his bucket to the land gone wild out back between my neighbor's lot and mine, where dun deer have pulled down the branch-naked rhododendron, then nibbled off the high green bark, leaving the knuckled rhodey branches finger-light as a Caucasian hand, waxing as sextons do over where I pour him out, his body landing before his bucket litter leaves fall to pile atop him. That naked rhodey hand there to scratch them in and fill his grave. And that would be his concluded end, save but for this coda. His was the problem I never knew I had, as I'd never known a mouse until we got a cat, and was witnessing his ethos that I dared to reform my ethics at. That'd be the end of it, by the way, if you were.
Thank you. And is that the cat? Is that the cat represented in the back? That little drawing that says Washington next to it?
That is even better than something I could ever write. It is Sox Goes to Washington.
Oh.
Way back from the Clinton days by Michael O'Donoghue and J.C. Suarez.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I bought this for Christine years and years ago and found it downstairs. It's the life of Fox the Kite. Would you rather I can read that next week for you?
Hey, why not? But
Hey,
let's,
the White House. I'm America's first cat.
nice. Very nice. Let's, thank you so much, Ken, and let's see who we go to next. Prime Minister 5000 has selected Jackie Chow.
So I assume we're reading one poem.
If you have two smaller poems, like two haiku-ish things, or, we can do.
Okay, I'll
we can do
read
those.
maybe one poem. Okay. Oh. Let me see. Okay. There's a background noise, but I'm gonna try to read my poem loudly. Okay. It's called The Tormenting Voices. I try walking away from your serpentine voice, snaking its way into my core. But walking away isn't enough. I envision an endless sidewalk, miles and miles of concrete road, stretching out like chewing gum. And still, I would not be far enough from you, from the torments that you make me feel. Your words cling to me like a cloak I cannot shed, no matter where I go on this futile journey, where all I want to do is to run and run until you're no longer with me. Is that a short poem? Can I read another one or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna read a new poem then. Not a very cheerful one. The last one wasn't very cheerful either. Okay, this poem I just wrote yesterday. It's called Stick Figure. Sometimes I wish I were a stick figure, the kind you draw, a patch of curlicues for hair, raised eyebrows, double eyelids, and an ear-to-ear smile. A red triangle hung over my torso like a cloak. When you're not looking, I'll grab an eraser with my claw-like fingers and remove myself from your lined page, your colored dress. Thank you.
Welcome back, Jackie. Thanks for reading. Thank you so much. Your short poems are always welcome. And now, now for something completely different. He knows who he is. Mr. Bill Lewis, you're up.
Oh, thank you, Chad. I am actually very much the same. Everyone thinks I'm different, but no, I am the epitome of average. I am what you think of when you think of American. I am the guy who comes to mind. I have an average intelligence and an average sense of humor and an average everything. I'm height average and weight average and humor average. Man, I am Mr. Average, which makes me exceptional because I am the only one in the whole world who is so average. God, I'm funny. I don't know how you all put up with me. I would think you'd all be busting a gut by now. So I am going to read from this fine anthology of poems, or actually artworks, or speaking of Art Beat. I don't know if you ever were in Somerville, but we had this Art Beat thing. And so this is, I got the kids, dozens of kids, maybe hundreds, all excited and running and laughing and splashing, kid heaven, and it was all mine. I've been to the opening of Art Beat Friday night when it was announced that they could use a few extra volunteers the next day. Super! I'm new to Somerville. I wanted to get involved. So I came early and got the assignment to assist with the dunk tank. They told me that some folks from the Department of Public Works were running it, and that the leading lights of this Somerville would be getting wet for charity. His Anna was going to be there. Cool. Arriving in place, there were no DWP directors to report to. There was, however, a parent who had already set his kid on the seat and several youngsters anxious to start throwing the balls. No time to lose. I checked out the equipment, drafted a parent to organize the donkeys, and got the dunk throwers in line. We were off. With me as cheerleader in front and director, a parent in behind, and Jared on the wet seat, the balls came flying. Little Annie, 6 years old, was eager to toss. That's Jared. Do you want to get him wet? She laughed and tossed, and Jared got wet. Wild applause erupted, and Todd was ready to throw. Then Jane and Lucy and a kid from the Red Sox camp. Do you like Kurt Schilling? No, I like Manny. Man on fire, I yelled, and Jared comes splashing down into the water again. He scrambles back as I incite the growing mob. Let me see a wind-up. You call that a wind-up? Come on, swing those arms. A giant wind-up, and the pitch goes clear over the backstop. Everybody laughs. Jared with a trooper did a good 45 minutes. A few other preteens joined him in the lineup. Look, you get a dry one. You want to dunk Nathan? Okay, let her rip. All this time, half of my mind is focused on the somewhat suspect latch on the seat. Calmly, clearly, I think, I make sure that the parents, I keep drafting new parents as the old one drift away, to keep small fingers out from between the other half of the latch where things can get hurt. Me, I'm out front dancing like a madman. You call that a pitch? You should play for the Yankees. Chants of Dunk William resounded across the fair as he gets his. The line of donkeys is growing faster than the line of dunkers. Nathan, Reed, Lucy, Tom, Ed, Roxanne, with bright and brilliant red braids. Josh, Jake, John, Judy, everyone is laughing and screaming and shouting, and a pile of kids huddle next to the tank to enjoy the residual splash. A girl waves me recognizes me and waves wildly, telling her friends that I am the substitute teacher they had who was so much fun. I hope that's what she was saying. I was still paranoid about that latch, even as the kids continued to go crazy. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Say hi, Josh. Say bye, Josh. Splash. A couple of grown-ups do a dunk each, but it's the kids who are running the show. I'm introducing every dunker to every donkey, but I'm getting all the name wrongs. Who cares? They're happy. It's totally intense. I'm backing up the big kids, bringing the little ones forward, holding the tiny ones so they can dunk too. I'm yelling and joking, instructing them to make faces. The entire world is compressed into a tiny tank of water, 3 yellow balls, and a pile of happy children. At 4 o'clock, the crowd disperses. I drop the seat, disconnect the latch, and put up a closed sign, and stagger back to report. I didn't really see much artwork, nor hear a lot of music, but I sure had a heck of a lot of fun. I love Somerville.
It's fun to be the dunking clown. When I worked for my student paper, I was the comics editor, and they made me the default dunking clown for their whole this one day festival towards the end of the year. My favorite taunt was saying, "Hey man, if the guy wasn't handing you balls, you wouldn't have any." That gets him going, especially if it's a woman. Anyway, I never dared say it to a woman, but way to go for that's one for the dunking clowns. I always call those rodeo clowns. I don't know why. Anyway, Bill Lewis, thank you very much. And now let's go to Mr. Robert Fleming. The screen share has already been enabled, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming, a visual poet from Lewis, Delaware. As a tribute to our feature Dawn, and our leader Chad both being published in a magazine with the theme of the moon, I will share on the moon tonight. The first one also will be a cold reading. The two characters are Ernestine on the upper left, who was a telephone operator character created by Lily Tomlin on Laugh-In in 1969. And the other character is Neil Armstrong, the first man who walked on the moon. The left side is the script for Ernestine, who starts, and the right side is Neil. So we need a volunteer to read Ernestine and one to read Neil.
I volunteer, I volunteer, I volunteer.
Bill, who do you want to be? Do you want to be Ernestine or Neil?
I have to, it's going to be hard because I have to sort of get into character, you know. I want like one, how does she do that? One ringy dingy, two ringy dingies, three. I'm working on it. I'll get this.
So you want to be Ernestine?
But of course, what would I want to be some stupid man on the moon for? No, I've got.
Okay.
We
And then we
phone
need
company, we don't
we
care.
need a volunteer to be Neil, the man who walked on the moon.
Robert, if nobody else wants to do it, I will. Somebody's got
Thank
to do
you.
it.
So I will read the title and then Ernestine will start. In 1969, Ernestine calls Apollo 11's Neil Armstrong, the first astronaut to walk on the moon.
4 ringy dingies? 5 ringy dingies?
Who is this?
It's the operator to whom you're speaking.
Landing on the moon?
Phone company doesn't care.
Call you after a moonwalk.
You haven't paid your phone bill.
That's one small step for
The company is cutting you off.
one giant. Operator, reconnect me.
Phone company is omnipotent.
Get Kennedy, answer.
Thank you.
Yay, Ernestine wins. Woohoo! Take that, Armstrong. Woohoo!
And
Go
it was
back on the moon.
it was widely publicized that the astronauts drank the liquid Tang on the moon. And what I'm proposing is what the astronauts ate on the moon was moon pizza. This first pizza is called Apollo 11 in 1969 discovers pizza dough craters on the moon. The second pizza, which originated on the moon, moon crust pizza, cures howling. Third pizza, pizza with moon peppers causes jealousy. And the last pizza that they offered on the moon, pizza with moon shrooms, is a narcotic. Thank you for letting me share my tribute to the moon.
That Moon movie by David Bowie's son would have been a lot better if it had moon pizza. Telling you. Thank you, Robert. And now we must bring our attention to the self-proclaimed poet of 3 rivers, Mr. Richard Spisak. Take it away, sir.
As you can see, spring is about to spring. So I offer you this political poem called The Great and Powerful Donald. Hey, I could shoot anyone in the street, that'd be neat. No one could say read. I could jail an opponent and no one could oppose it, even if they know it. I could use SEAL Team 6 to unload some of their tricks. Political opponents, I don't, but Putin knows it. I could rob and steal and make a deal and no one complains. Look, a squirrel. Oh, how it rains. I can steal and hold power. My kids I'd empower. I can't be touched. I owe so many so very much. I own lots of senators and legislators. Son, I could do it again, steal it all right under the sun. No one can say nay. I own night and day. I owe 'em all outright. But wait. Mirror, mirror on the wall, the mighty Donald, anything that's right after all, or just another two-bit hood who's up to no good, who we know now belongs in chains in a hoosegow. Like any old crimer, I've seen this two-bit, 9 crime indictment, big crimer, no chit. And our dear Bonnie Willis began to plan it out. What was the best way to dig this mole out? He'd buried in so deep so many crimey holes, and like so many disappeared. Could they still disinter these buried bones? She'd dig in, her investigators, into all this mess. And you know what happened? You know the rest. Her crack team got the evidence. They got him for sure. But one thing stood out in the way of that big justice door. His attorneys attacked. They had to. He's guilty. None of it was funny, like old Uncle Milty. They tried to slime her, but he'd paid them to. It's their duty. She stood above it all. And it sure wasn't pretty. She pointed to the law. It really didn't matter what a couple of liars saw. Then their straight crimey patter. The emperor criminal had his hidey clothes all tore off, and the state presented him with a pair of criminal day-glow orange socks. He'd have to put his spray painted gold tennies away for just a few days. The great and powerful Donald. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. What do we have left coming up? Who do we have? Let's go up to Remnant is chosen, John Wezick.
So here's a story called Doxed, and I'll sort of read the introduction and post a link to it so you can read the rest. Friends, gun violence has reached an epidemic in America. Jeffrey Harrison said to the camera. He was in his 50s with a chiseled chin and hair graying at the temples. Gun violence is the #1 cause of death in children. If elected president, I'll get these dangerous guns off our streets and keep our children safe. The video switched to an image of a classroom. I'm Jeffrey Harrison, and I approve this message. Barbara Hughes stroked Cora's head. Her tabby jumped off the couch as Barbara reached for the remote and switched off the TV. She hoped Harrison would win because his opponent, Ron Lundgren, was a bigot and a bully who wasn't qualified to run a lemonade stand. Barbara drained her glass of Merlot and went to bed. Tomorrow was election day, and she needed to be at the poll at 6 a.m. So I'm going to skip a little bit. Barbara is a poll worker. She and another guy named Gordon are in the story. So after she does her work at for the election, she kind of goes home, and it's the next day. Barbara woke to the results that Jeffrey Harrison had won the presidency with 51% of the votes compared to Lundgren's 47, but Lundgren was having none of it. Dead people voting in Chicago, illegal aliens in New Mexico, and ballots dumped in Vermont. Lundgren's whiny voice shouted on the radio, "This is the most corrupt vote in American history." Barbara switched it off. She'd taken 2 days vacation from work. She'd donated yesterday to her community. Today was her day to recover. She didn't need to ruin it listening to that fool's baseless accusations about the painstaking job she'd performed yesterday. She opened a can of cat food for Cora and drove to an organic market where she bought basil, heirloom tomatoes, olive oil, and mozzarella. After a lunch of caprese, she caught a matinee and took a walk in the park. Barbara set the handpiece, dental picks, mouth mirror, probe, toothpaste, and floss on the tray. Despite the flexible schedule, her job as a dental hygienist paid well. She displayed the first patient's x-rays on the monitor as he entered and sat in the dentist chair. "We did x-rays last time, Mr. Kelly, so it'll be just a cleaning today." It was a typical day. The Wagner boy wasn't flossing, and Dr. Johnson told Mrs. Williams she needed a crown on her number 30 molar. When Barbara got home, she fed Cora and heated up a frying pan to cook some salmon. Her cell phone rang. Hello? All she could hear was heavy breathing. Hello? Barbara hung up. She overcooked the salmon and sat down to dinner when the phone rang again. It was the same heavy breather, so she hung up. The phone rang again when she was washing up. Listen, you asshole, stop calling me. Barbara? Oh, Gordon, sorry, I was getting a prank call. Have you seen the website? What website? They're calling themselves Americans for a Fair Vote. Go take a look. She booted her laptop and found the website. As well as Lundgren's accusations, it displayed state election officials and several poll workers. Under Precinct 4, she found her name, address, phone number, and email. Lying bastards. Over 300 emails with messages like, I'm going to cut off your tits, you traitor, crowded her inbox. That was one of the milder ones. So I'm posting a link to the story in the chat. It is also in this new chapbook called A Liberal at the Shooting Range. If you want a copy of this chapbook, send me $5 and I will mail it to you. I'll put my email in the chat as well. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, John. Wow, wherever do you get your ideas? But I wanted to ask if Marvin Lewis would be interested in reading.
I would. Can I screen share?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to read a portion of this zine that I've been working in lately. It's short, a lot of short poems, and it goes like this. Don't wish to fall asleep, much rather wake up, have visions. Nightcap uncorked, cold bottle champagne, both my bane, early morning Bloody Mary. 2 weeks ago, or was it today? Swallowed half pint brown liquor, or was it a full pint? Now this night, staring into empty bottle, asking, will you remember my name? Voice in my head said, can he stop screaming now? Muse said, nope. Learned to dance in rain, lost my mind more times than I've been sane. If you can't dance in the storm, how the hell you gonna dance when the sun comes out? When did words start reflecting my shadow? Went outside a walk, farther away, traveled further away I got. Blurry vision, who makes the decision to be or not to be a creator? Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin. We're getting towards the end. Before we get to the feature, the end of the open mic, I should say. Check out Stone Soup Poetry's Facebook group. I'm going to be posting more calls for submissions. We posted a few. Last week I posted a call for submissions for a Leonard Cohen themed anthology. That was supposed to have ended on March 11th, but they've extended the date, I think, to March 17th. So if you might have a chance. But let's go to, is Ethan Mackler looking to perform tonight? Oh, not tonight. Got it, sir. Okay, so in that case, we get to the real end. Just making sure I didn't leave out anyone. And we end off with James Van Lloyd to close out the open mic.
Thanks, Chad.
Just do this. This is a poem called First You Cry. First you cry, and then your nose runs and runs. Or was it the nose first, followed by those tears? It's impossible to tell when you can't even know if you had that virus or that other so viral one. But the one you know for sure, it's changing. So fast that never ever will it never be the same. Even though when you do look at the contending factions of the duopoly, so many are tempted again to say they are the same because all one thing. They are the interlocking parts of one big system. Everyone's worst nightmare of an abusive relation, sociopathic pair together doing exactly what neither would do alone, one acting out person, the other audience and accomplice in this dysfunctional family dance of the big daddy and the mate who just take it time after time, endless, absent, out to lunch concern that never manages to mount that real resistance because resistance would be seen as slit-eyed retaliation, and the retaliation to any even faint halting symbol of deviation will lead automatically, demonic quick, to alienation, evisceration, and alienation on and on and on the spot right there where lives sign of weakness, all whole, waiting right there for just that single tear, much less that running, dripping, clear snot, unblown nose. And let me sing a quick song here for you. I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Check out his poem column, It's All One Thing, which is featured every Thursday morning at Oddball Magazine at oddballmagazine.com. Also the home of for several poems from many of the authors here tonight. Poems and artwork and more to come. Definitely submit, and we're definitely looking for timely political stuff too. But enough of that. We know what we're here for. One of my favorite fellow moon men is here tonight at Snowsuit Poetry. I don't brag about the lunar anthology, although it is pretty amazing, but you are the first person who is featuring that is also included in it. So might as well yap it up. might as well hype it up. And tonight's feature is Don Kingfisher Campbell, who I first met publishing through one of his zines and one of his Zoom parties. This person works incredibly hard in keeping not only his own poetry going, but also keeping the poetry scene that he's cultivated going. And it's always impressive to look at and see see what projects he's working on. Don Kingfisher Campbell, to get to his boilerplate, received his MFA in creative writing from Antioch University of Los Angeles and taught a writer's seminar at Occidental College, Upward Bound, for 36 years. He's been on a he's been a coach and judge for Poetry Out Loud, a performing poet teacher for Red Hen Press youth writing workshops, an LA coordinator and board member of California Poets in the Schools, poetry editor of the Angel City Review, publisher of Four Feathers Press, and host of the Saturday afternoon poetry reading series in Pasadena, California. Ladies and gentlemen, he's with us tonight. This is his East Coast Zoom debut? Doubtful, but it's his Stone Soup debut. So let us put our hands together 30, 40 times as we lend him our ears and he lends us his screen. Don Kingfisher Campbell.
Thank you very much. And hopefully that ship will fly in November as it's supposed to. They're very notorious for delaying their launches. Yeah. But eventually they get up there, so it's okay. All right, thank you very much for this opportunity. Yes, I'm hawking this book here. Yeah. Because you're here, if you order the book directly from me, you won't have to pay shipping. How's that for good old American capitalism? Yeah. And I'm someone who likes to tightrope a little. So I'm going to screen share my book, and it's in 7 sections. So seems like a good idea to read 7 poems. Hopefully that won't be too much to endure. In fact, it's partly going to be because of you. Oh, that's right, all of you. Because each of you will individually choose which poem I read. And all you have to go on are the titles. So let's try this little game. It involves sharing the old screen. These are the 7 sections. The first one is Electrified Man. So based on my experience of this open reading, the most electric of you is definitely Rick and his springs. So I'm going to ask you, Rick, to choose one of these 12 poem titles, if I can figure out how to scroll down.
Space Journeys, no question. Space Journeys.
Oh, no, don't worry. That's another section. I'm trying to get down there. Give me 1 second here. I just got to figure out how to go down. I'll do it manually. There we go. All right. So like I said, first section's Electrified Man. These are the poems to choose from. Go ahead, pick one of those, sir. Let's see how good your luck is.
Let's go with the Stellar Sonnet.
You got it. Number 6. Oh, now the thing shows. Okay, that's good. Makes my life a lot easier. There's number 6. You picked a short one. You're a lucky winner. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's the end of the other one. Sorry. Oh, yeah. So it's not as short as I thought, but it's still, pretty pocket size, right? 14 lines. Here goes. Stellar Sonnet. These photographs of what we once were show that color existed before we had eyes. That clouds of dust dance into orbits, ignite around each other, attracted, coming closer, colliding, joining to form stars, planets, moons, asteroids, consisting of gas, some cooling solid, cells activating, swirling, wriggle to combine and become little beings in water. Then sand and dirt and plant allowed further evolution to upright animals, creating telescopes to hope to see their own birthplace again, this time knowing from those cosmic cliffs we walk today and will return to renew the great cycles of eons. Doesn't that nebula look like a stuffed teddy bear? Okay, here's my stellar sonnet. Sliding along to the next section. I could slide faster. There we go. Things to remember before the war. And let's see, I definitely think I'm gonna go to that guy from Idaho because he was talking all about potatoes in the war. So Bill, if you'll be so kind as to choose one of these 12 titles, I'll read it at your
Well,
own peril.
indeed, you think that one of these would make a reasonable title for a poem. Heavens to Murgatroyd. I think not. Let's see what we have of optimism. Do you have something positive in here? Perhaps appreciation. That should be a good one. Let's hear appreciation.
You got it, number 8. Here it is. Okay. This is definitely appreciation. After attending a super spreader pre-Halloween poetry reading in maskless in a black room with no open windows, we spend my birthday week at home, feverish, body ached, sore-throated, congested, and coughing. Now I munch on popcorn from a white porcelain bowl during the writing time of the online Saturday workshop, and here, my wife in the bathroom, washing clothes with the portable spinner. I walk down the hallway to visit her. She's naked. I apologize, give her body a big wet hug. Think to myself, I'm feeling better. How's that for positivism? All right. Number 3, it's to us, the space journeys. Let's see what these are. Let's see. Well, it looks like Patricia's not in the room. So yeah, Ken seems to be voting. Okay, Ken, go ahead, sir. Number 8? I couldn't hear you. I think it's an A. I saw 4 and 4. That would be cat. And since you are into cats, that does make a lot of sense. Cat it is. Sorry, I couldn't lip
Just
read.
don't sing memories because I've heard that enough.
Hey, don't sweat it. Number 8, here we go. Cat. Ooh, aren't you glad you didn't choose 6? Okay. There we go. Oh yes, this is a very sentimental poem. A dusty clipboard, drink-stained slate with a couple chipped corners, but the clip retains a strong metal spring, worn a groove. I added stickers on the front surface, Wile E. Coyote next to Roadrunner. It was a gift from Tim, my 3rd grade student when I was an 8th grader cross-age teaching. He also gave me blue vinyl binders from his father's manufacturing job. Over the decades, it has held poems for my performances. 50 years later, I still have it. That was wonderfully sentimental. Thank you, sir. And this next section is I will never live in a world without cars. Oh my. 15 to choose from. I'm gonna go to this one. Feels like I want to go to the host, Chad. Would you be so kind, sir, as to choose one of these 15?
I have, I, let me see. I think number 12, what better way to eat on Mother's Day?
Yeah, let's do that. Wait a minute, I forgot the number. It was 12. Yeah, there we go. Hey, there it is. Not too long. What better thing to eat on Mother's Day than organic eggs? For buttered French toast with syrup, all made from underpaid labor, and nuts and grapes and raisins and oranges artistly picked from trees, and mango juice bought from an outlet store run by a woman. My wife rouses from bed to find a man who loves her. Cook breakfast because it's she. Wow, that's another sweetie. Let's see, trying to get this thing to work. There we go, we're almost there. So this section is called Simile City, kind of a large section. It's got 16 to choose from. I think that's accurate. And let's see, who else have I not disturbed? Well, I'm getting this John Westick vibration. Would you choose one, sir?
Absolutely. Let's go for the title of the section, number 8, Simile City.
Yeah, that's a lucky number. Thank you. Simile City.
Eight's lucky in Chinese, I think it
Absolutely,
rhymes with
absolutely. Boy, do
pineapple.
I know. Simile City. A family of red roses cluster together like a solar array. A pair of parrots screech overhead like pod racers. Two honking cars pass in parking lot like dogs barking. Air conditioners hang out windows like bored citizens. A couple walk their pooch on the sidewalk, vanish like settlers.
I
There's a
noticed
quiet
some
reflection
similes
one.
in that poem there, Don.
Yeah, there's a few. Simile City, man. I walked it. Okay. And we're in the final 3. It's going pretty quick. I'm so happy. This is Oblivion. Talk about a cheerful title there. I'm looking at the couple, Jan and James. Would you be willing to pick a number?
What's 12?
Let's find out. No. That's the Pantomime Rose this morning. Oh, I love reading that one. It's a fun one to read out loud. Thank you for choosing that one. It's one of the good out loud ones. 12. There it is. Okay. So if you know what a pantoum is, this will be really recognizable. The pantoum rose this morning. Actually, the earth turned, and here we are again. Those of us who got through another diurnal day and night. And here we are again. Can you still walk like a human? Another diurnal day and night? Can you still talk like a being? Will you still walk like a human? Do you hear breakfast cooking? Will you still talk like a being? Do you feel the air's chill? If you hear breakfast cooking, well, then you've come this far. If you feel the air's chill, what do you have to show? Well, then you've come this far. Maybe a job, house, marriage, kids. What do you have to show? If you're gifted, you could have maybe a job, house, marriage, kids, making some art, music, poetry. If you're gifted, you could be thanking the muses we made up, making some art, music, poetry. Those of us who got through, thank the muses we made up. The earth actually turned. I love pantoums. And I was only introduced to them by Jackie Chow. Are you here, Jackie?
Yes, I am.
I just wanted to thank you.
Oh, no worries.
I never tried them before you. Oh my,
Okay, it
look at
was
this one.
my
Look at this one.
pleasure and honor.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
I'm very appreciative. And I was even the lesser of the 2 pantoums. I still think it's okay.
Okay.
All right, so the God section.
How about Christmas?
Patricia, how about Patricia? Did you
Yeah,
volunteer?
Christmas, 4.
Go ahead. What number?
4, Christmas,
4 it is. Let's go for some Christmas.
with the tree up.
Christmas in Christmas. Okay, this one's a wee bit longer, okay? That's just the start of it. All right, this is kind of autobiographical. If this was 1963, I'd be excitedly getting up early to run into the living room to unwrap a surprise Tonka Jeep and hand drive around the house. If this was 1968, I'd wake up smiling and sorry about the up there. I'd wake smiling in expectation, open the front door, take out a new banana seat bicycle to explore the city. If this was 1973, it'd please my ears in bed. I'd please my ears in bed with the sound of 93 KHJ, then dig Chicago on my recent gifted record player. If this was 1978, I'd slowly lift my lids, hearing the week-old baby boy needs a diaper change on the door held by sawhorse's table. If it was 1983, I'd awaken next to my second wife, enjoying my 2-week vacation from teaching junior high school. Happy my favorite band, yes, is number 1. If this was 1993, I gaze at my third wife, an infant daughter, pour myself some cereal, watch the Lakers struggle without magic, and write a poem about it. If this was 2013, I'd blink and wonder beside my fourth wife if coming will be a peaceful year with my fresh MFA on the wall and the memory of a day in jail behind me. If this was 2017, I'd arise alone in my bedroom while my fifth wife in our fifth day of marriage stays celibate in her own room as I contemplate a fast divorce. Thank God this is 2023. I rouse and hug my sixth wife a good long time, thankful she will make me a hot breakfast, and the only price I have to pay is washing the dishes afterwards. That's been some of my Christmases.
Oh,
And finally,
okay.
if I can get down there,
Organization.
get down there.
Well, you got married a lot, huh?
Well, no, that was the seventh section. I'm sorry. I'm already done. That was a quick 7 poems. Thank you, everybody.
And that's the feature.
That's the
Would you
feature.
like to do an encore? Something new, something fresh, hot take?
Well, I did. I just wrote this poem right now.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh,
This will be a
that's
world debut.
yeah, that's
Right.
great. It's like a cento. Yes, let's do
I've been
it.
meaning to write this poem for a couple days, okay? Because this poem is called March 11th.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, the day has some significance to me. As I hear in the poem. All right, so it's really rough, okay? Rough. March 11th. That's my half-brother's 75th birthday. I used to try to imitate his precious pup laugh. I enjoyed having sex with my wife beside his rectangular backyard pool, but that was over 40 years ago when he went to the market. I haven't seen him since the uncle's funeral. March 11th. That was my college lover's birthday, too. She said I was her boyfriend, number 28. Later on, I joked, he used to date Kate Bush. And today, my coupon for $2 off a Jumbo Jack combo expired, unused. March 11th.
Very good, Don. So what else are you working on? You have a
Working
lot
on,
of
well,
irons and you have a lot of irons and a lot of fires. So I'd
yeah, I
imagine.
just finished this morning posting a website that you can still join if you like, because the deadline is Friday night.
Oh, so
And the
give us a
website
link.
is called, and I didn't come up with this name, okay? One of the people in the group came up with a name. It's
Okay.
a very unusual name. It's called Pie Size. You heard that right. Pie Size. That's
Okay.
SIGHS.
So is it a collective, a publication?
Yeah, I do a monthly online anthology, and the group, somebody in the group always gives me a topic, theme, whatever. And I guess I could share it if you have a moment in time.
Sure.
Because it is fresh on the menu. There it is. Okay, back to sharing. There it is.
Oh, very
So,
cool.
my press is Four Feathers Press. Like I said, this is called Pie Size. And the deadline is Friday night. We've got 20 quotes on here so far. Usually get about 30 or so. And if I'm featuring, I guess I should go to my poem, huh?
Let's do that.
Which is the very last one. There it is. No, that's not it. That's pizza, all right. But mine has a different kind of pizza. There we go. All right. So I had to come up with a poem, It would be so embarrassing not to have a poem. So this is my poem. Do you sigh when you eat your pie? Do you cry when you're going to fly? Do you wash your hands and not ask why? Do you wish your heart will never die? Do you watch the stairs? Excuse me. You watch the stars at night so high. Do you regret what it is you cannot buy? Do you prefer your pastrami on rye? Do you lift your eyes before you lie? Do you carefully choose the words you apply? Do you feel the end of this poem is nigh? It is not yours, it is mine. So I beseech you try. Okay, hopefully that got somebody going.
So hopefully the rest of us will have until Friday to submit our haiku.
That's right, Pacific Daylight Time.
There we go.
I had to-
Pacific Day. Okay,
Yeah, so that's really what, 9 o'clock for you guys?
yeah.
Something like that, yeah, okay.
Well, thank you, Don.
But I'd love to challenge you. Hi.
I'm sure
Sorry.
I'm sure some of us have accepted the challenge.
I think it's 3 a.m. for us, actually.
Yeah,
Don.
I'm mathematically
3
challenged, as you can see. I thought it was 7 poems or 6 poems, or whatever. I can't count.
You weren't gonna get correct
That's why I was
answer on
in
the
this-
on the times from poets. Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah, I'm in bed asleep anyway, so when I wake up, I'll take your phone. Jackie's already on there. Thank you, Jackie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
very awesome. Well, thank you very much, Don. And I'll be paying attention to your work, and hopefully I'll be able to get to some of your readings in the future. It's been a very busy year, but the poets kind of have to unite and network more than ever now in the crazy months to come. So I'm glad you're one of the people keeping the networks going.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice to meet your people.
Very good. And speaking of people, it's time to do the obligatory wave. Waving goodbye to Don, waving goodbye to the audience. We'll be watching this hopefully by the tens of thousands this coming Thursday morning, usually between 8 or 9 is when this gets posted. Be with us next week. We're going to have an all open mic. And we're gonna have an all open mic next week, and then our final feature for March will be Linda Carney Goodrich, who is featuring a brand new book as well. So thank you guys very much for your attention. Thank you for listening to our feature tonight. Thanks again to Don, and we will see you all next time. Can be like this every week, guys. All we need is you. Have a good night. Or as I like to say, the show's over. See you next time.